All right, hey, what's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for 9 minutes with me here from Rosie's Corner, IGTV, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. And of course, Rosie's Corner is the place to be during these tough times. You got to keep supporting local businesses. They're doing the curbside takeout. They're doing takeout in general. And today is Friday, and you know what that means here at Rosie's, which is the mac and cheese paired with the fish sandwich or the dinner. You get the coleslaw or fries with it as well. So make sure you come on down to Rosie's Corner here in Brewerton, right in front of the Brewerton Bridge. They'll even deliver to you, or you can get it through Grubhub as well. Follow them on Instagram, like them on Facebook, and you'll see all their themed food days like Fish Friday, Meatloaf Monday, and the continued support for local businesses. What we need to do right now, we got to hang together. And of course, they've got other things specialized here at Rosie's, the unbelievable garlic parm wings, the gold fever, etc. You can pair them up with those pizzas, and of course, pair them up with anything else that you might like, hot and cold subs. They've got the salads and other things to go out of the coolers as well. Milk, eggs. I mean, they've got the essentials here at Rosie's Corner. And of course, you can find them, as I mentioned, all over social media. So in terms of the sports climate right now, I mean, I feel like a lot of people in terms of radio hosts and podcast folks and writers and such, you know, they wake up every single day kind of asking the same questions that a lot of the fans are. And I know you just saw me itch my face, but I just actually washed my hands fresh to wash that face. It's a very odd, unprecedented, crazy time, kind of wondering, when our league's going to come back. There are no answers right now, obviously, but people are starting to guess. People are starting to target. People are starting to follow every 5 to 10 minutes the numbers here in the United States, with more cases that have been confirmed than China at this particular time. But by the same token, over 100,000 people, over 115,000 people have at least been, healed after getting the coronavirus, which is super positive news. And, hopefully it's only a matter of time before we find a vaccine. But the questions are coming up in terms of the sports calendar. And again, I, like you, we realize there's a lot bigger things going on out there in terms of people getting sick, people dying, etc. around the globe. Some of the numbers are skewed with the coronavirus, so do not believe everything that you read. You'll have to go to the absolute accurate websites in terms of that, because they're starting to lump people in with a disease that they maybe had before, and they're just saying that, well, they just died of COVID. Well, it's not completely true. But what sports is facing in terms of a dilemma right now, and again, we need diversion. We need our sports back. That's just the bottom line. That's my way of life. It's what a lot of you folks love to do as well. I mean, we need this. We need to rally around together when the games do come back. But people are asking the questions in terms of, the NHL, if they come back, how soon will they come back? Can they crowd? Can they kind of bundle the schedule in and crowd the maybe a 7 to 10 day regular season just to kind of get the legs going, and then the playoff teams go to the playoffs and everybody else goes home? Are they going to play in front of empty arenas? Same thing goes for the NBA. Mark Cuban of the Dallas Mavericks has talked about it as well. There's possible TV deals that will be lost here. In fact, Dan Wolken from the USA Today yesterday tweeted out that he is concerned that college football is in absolute danger right now as well. I've said it already. I'm not sure sports are coming back the rest of this year. I don't know. But let's assume and stay positive and think that they do, right? I think however you look at this, sports are going to have an incredibly crowded schedule. No matter how you look at it, no matter how they come back, no matter when they come back, and no matter why they're coming back, in terms of in front of empty arenas, or is it full arenas and full stadiums? Do we come back all the way normal? Again, another concern with coming back is, well, we think we're good, and then another case is found, ruh-roh, what do we do then? You got to pull back and then cancel everything again. The United States of America, sports leagues, etc., entertainers, musicians, nobody wants that at all. We want this thing to be nipped in the bud 100,000% before we even go and do anything in big public places, gathering thousands of people around each other. You don't want to have a couple of cases. Remember, that happened back, I believe the 1918 pandemic, that it happened, right around World War I time. The United States thought that they were good. And then all of a sudden there were a couple cases and people got pulled back. Then there were more deaths. That is the absolute last headache and nightmare that we would ever want to see. So I think with sports leagues, And no matter what they do, you're going to have a crowded schedule. For example, look at golf. The Masters is supposed to happen in a couple of weeks from now. When is the Masters played? If we get sports back, the U.S. Open, they closed Winged Foot. Completely closed it. People are playing golf around the country right now. In fact, in many parts of the United States. But Winged Foot is completely closed. What happens with the West Coast San Francisco, PGA schedule for May? That's completely wiped out. They have to change that venue because of how many corona cases perhaps were found in the beginning stages out on the West Coast. You take a look at the Open Championship. There's no way that people are going to be flying across the pond to play in the Open Championship anytime. Look, that tournament's in July? There's no way that they're going to play that before August or September. Do you just skip the British Open and have the Open Championship in sort of a quasi United States course this year and just call it the Open? It's so weird. But if you do get them all back, when do you play them? Do you play 2 majors in a month, 2 majors the next month? What happens with college football if you miss the first 4 weeks of the season? Do you just play conference play and have an 8-game schedule? The NFL, I think, is in danger at this point. Do you have a 2 or 3, 4 games off and then just play the final dozen or 13 games or whatever the case may be? What happens with Major League Baseball? If they don't start until mid-August, do you go ahead and play a 60-game schedule or maybe a 40-game schedule? Players right now are apparently conversing via Skype and video and text and whatever the heck else we've got for technology these days. They're starting to talk about, hey, let's play 2 doubleheaders a week to get these games in. Even then, you're only looking at getting maybe 80 to 90 games in if you play in August and September, which frankly is half a season. I don't care how long the baseball season is. That's enough for those guys to get back into shape and the grind and all the rest. But let's be honest right now. However this gets back, however sports come back, you are facing the dilemma of an incredibly crowded schedule. And oh, by the way, if the NBA and NHL are willing to go into the months of August and September, folks, camps open right after that. So to me, if you're going to do August, September, you got to take a little bit of time off. You shorten training camp. Maybe you only have 2 preseason games, and then you delay the start of the season to get these guys back on a little bit of a regular track. Perhaps you don't start until the 1st of December for the next season, which would be 2020, 2021. And I've heard Charles Barkley wax poetic about the idea of starting the NBA in December because that would make more sense. Nobody cares about the games. You can't compete with the NFL and college football anyway. This is an opportunity for guys like Gary Bettman and Adam Silver and company, the commissioners of the NHL and NBA respectively, to kind of take a different view here and maybe pull back and see how to make their leagues a little bit better. The problem for those guys, of course, is, chopping it from 82 to 72 games or whatever the case may be, they're losing a bunch of revenue. That's the same thing with Major League Baseball. They don't want to go down to 144 or 152 because they're losing a bunch of revenue by losing games. That's the flat out truth of the matter. And you know what? If you're the Yankees and you go from 162 to 154, where are those 8 games? You're not going to chop the Red Sox games. You're not going to chop the games with the Angels and Mike Trout, the money games. Where do you start chopping? Then you're going to have arguments with other owners in terms of what games to get rid of and try to make it fair and all the rest. So it just opens up a can of worms that you'll never be able to close again. But this is the point of the video. No matter how we do this, no matter when all this stuff comes back, this crowded schedule will happen in sports. It's going to be extremely difficult to get everything in. What happens with horse racing? 3 races usually in 3 weeks. But when do you race them? September or October? Do you even have them in November? Do you cancel the whole year? Do you make the Triple Crown basically all out on the West Coast in terms of Santa Anita and just run that race forth after that? Saratoga's in danger. This is an unbelievable, weird time right now. But the bottom line is the sports calendar will eventually be crowded no matter when we get sports back, whether it's 2020 or 2021. Mike Lindsley with you, 9 minutes here. IGTV, Facebook, YouTube. Get to Rosie. Support local business. Pizza, pasta, hot and cold subs, and more. Themed food days. Today's Fish Friday. Get it on Grubhub or they'll deliver it to you. You got the curbside pickup as well. Takeout only. Support local business. Rosie's Corner, Facebook and Instagram. Go check them out. And as I always tell you, when they come back, enjoy the games.